Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's masterclass. We're speaking about your original medicine. I know this is an interesting sort of topic that if you're not familiar with the idea, you don't necessarily know what this is about, and that's okay. If you do already have some ideas about what this is relating to, that's okay too. We'll be delving into a little bit about, what is this? First of all, what is our original medicine? Why is it important for those of us who are choosing to walk the path and living life on purpose? And looking at the how can we reclaim our original medicine? If it's such a good thing, how do we do more of it? And how do we live in alignment with it a little more easily? I just realized I didn't put my phone on silent, so I'm going to go do that real fast. Go ahead and take a drink of water, get all settled in, and if you're just joining us, please put yourself on mute. Okay, no interruptions. There we go. Okay, so as we're settling into this conversation today, I invite you to take a moment and just sit with the question of, what do I need to know right now? What would I like to get out of this? What is coming up as being really important for me in my path right now? And what do I need to hear? So just take a moment and sit with that as we continue. Original medicine is, we're talking about it personally, but we're also talking about this collectively. So everything that we're doing for ourselves also contributes to the collective experience. Knowing that the process of reclaiming and working with our original medicine affects not only us and those in our immediate circle, but everybody around us too. So we'll also be spending a moment looking at some of these global implications. For now, I invite you to go ahead and we're going to do a little meditation to get us started. So if you'd like to turn off your video, that's okay. If you'd like to leave it as it is, that's okay too. But I do invite you, if you're driving or if you're running around, you can participate just in your internal sense. If you're driving, please don't drop in super deeply. But for those rest of you who are in a comfortable spot, I invite you to just go ahead and close your eyes. And let's take a moment to simply arrive in the body with a breath. With a deep inhale. And exhale with a sigh. Deep inhale. And exhale with a sigh. Breathing out everything that doesn't serve us, that we just don't need right now. Deep inhale. And exhale with a sigh. Anything that you just simply don't need at this moment. Continuing to flow with the breath and arriving more fully in your body with every deep inhale. Bringing yourself into an even deeper presence and exhaling peace. Inhale presence and exhale peace. Noticing that we're not trying to change or fix anything, but we're simply being present with ourselves exactly as we are in this moment. And I invite you to return to that question. What do I need to hear today? What do I need to receive from this experience? Allow this question to sink into your body, feeding it with your breath. Knowing that you already know the answer. But it is only through the process of asking ourselves questions that we can come into recognition of our knowing. What do I need to hear today? What do I need to remember about myself? The truth is, we already know everything we need to know. As we move through this process, there's a lot of, oh, I need to learn this thing. I need to have this experience. And yes, that's true. There's learning, but the idea of learning implies the acquisition of knowledge that you previously didn't have. So I invite you to ask yourself instead, what do I need to remember about myself? Because you already know. So as we move through this journey of discovery, as we move through this journey of reclaiming our original medicine, this is something that you already have. This is already yours. This is not anything that exists outside of you. This is not anything that you can acquire from anywhere or anyone else. This is an aspect of you coming into your innate knowing as a result of remembering. Allow yourself to breathe into that, knowing that you are creating an invitation with your breath to help you remember even more. And I invite you now to take it, whatever message it was that you received, or whatever feeling or impression, and breathe it all the way into your body, asking your body to remember that energy, that message, that sensation. And go ahead and give yourself a hug, offering yourself so much love and gratitude for taking this time to be present with yourself today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Giving yourself some love. Put your hands on your heart and just love yourself for a minute. And as you're ready, you may wiggle your fingers and toes, come back to your conscious awareness, and gently open your eyes. Welcome back. I hope that went well. I hope you remembered something that you needed for today. And this is yours. Everything that we're talking about today, everything that we're investigating is, again, this is already yours. There's nothing I can tell you or give you that you don't already know or don't already have. So please keep that in mind as we move forward. This is merely a roadmap back to yourself. And so let us begin on the journey. So I would really love to share with you a story as to why my focus is on original medicine so strongly these days. This is, it has always been a part of my work under the surface a little bit more, but lately it's really come to the forefront, and that's for a very particular reason. I'm gonna go back many, many years and start with Michelle as a kid. So little me running around as one of these magical children, like we all are, and just being connected with animals. That was one of the things that I did as a kid. It was easy for me. It was effortless. And I remember it didn't seem extraordinary to me. It didn't seem like there was anything that was different, or that it was something that other people weren't doing. It was so innate to me that I would just love animals. And I remember, I think I was about maybe 8 or so, when maybe 7, when I started noticing that this was something that was remarked upon. And I remember just, sort of not really liking that it was anything that was different. But, my parents used to tell people when we would go out and meet animals, or meet people with animals, and they just flocked to me, the dogs and the cats and the rabbits and the wild deer coming out of the woods to stand there and look at me. And my parents used to tell people that I had a way with animals. And I didn't really like that. I didn't like that there was attention called to something that to me seemed so effortless. And so this effortless connection with animals included animals being my first teachers and supporting me in my journey of intuition, of energy healing, of pulling this innate ability out of me. And it was from the animals that this happened. So as I grew up, I never stepped away from that. I never shut it down, and it shifted a little bit. I knew that I had this deep love and deep connection with animals, and it showed up in my work. So as I opened my practice, opened my business just over 9 years ago, I worked primarily with animals. I was doing animal communication work, I was doing animal healing work, animal Reiki, and supporting people in coming into this healthy, beautiful, amazing relationship with their animals in the way that I experienced animals, as divine embodied beings, as whole beings with a purpose all their own. And it seemed like the most natural thing in the world to me. I did that for several years, and it felt really good until about a couple of years ago. And I started feeling some shutdownness. I started feeling a little bit of resistance and resentment toward people who were hiring me to come work with their animals, and yet they weren't actually willing to do the work. It caused me a great deal of pain and heartbreak. And I actually, a few months ago, maybe, 3 to 5-ish months ago, I finally took animal work completely off the table of my business. I stepped away from it because I was so heartbroken. I was very heartbroken about the fact that I had, my desire to work with animals was out of service and out of love. And I had people coming to hire me who wanted me to fix a problem. They wanted me to make their cat stop peeing in the house and they didn't like it when I shared with them, okay, your cat is peeing in the house, not because there's anything wrong with the cat, but because you have shitty boundaries. And granted, I said it more kindly than that, but really animals, as their own sacred beings, were reflecting something back to these people that they didn't want to hear. So rather than taking it as a teaching and taking it in the way that I saw animals, they viewed it as a problem, and they viewed it as something that required a solution. And I ended up stepping away from this work that has been with me for my entire life. That didn't last long, because when we step away from the thing that is effortless to us, spirit comes knocking, and this was the case. So about a month and a half ago now, I was blessed to receive an equus work session from a friend and colleague. And this this work, Equus work, involves working with horses for the benefit of the human, but from a place of total surrender to reflection from the horse. You're not riding the horse, you're not trying to make the horse do anything at all. It is simply being in the presence of a horse and noticing what arises energetically and emotionally. It's also known under the, there's a different branch of this that is called equine facilitated psychotherapy. And this was not a psychotherapy session. It was like a coaching mentorship session where I got to be around a horse for the first time in a long time. And it cracked me wide open. It brought me back into alignment with my original medicine in a way that I didn't even realize was missing. It helped me remember why I love animals so much. It helped me drop back into that space of the innocent heart, because animals are the guardians of innocence. And we cannot connect with animals unless we are also in our own innocent hearts. And so I got to just play with these horses. I got to, out of sheer joy and enthusiasm, go back to how I felt as a kid, working with animals and being around animals and being in awe and reverence of their sacredness. And I received this amazing heart blessing from a horse. It almost knocked me over backwards, this pulse of energy from this horse. And I was grinning like a fool the entire time. It felt so good. And as a result, what this has done for me is I have realigned with my work in a different way. I have remodeled my business. I have realigned with my personal practice in a different way. I am realigning with my connections and relationships in a different way, because I realized that I had been out of alignment. And animals, even though I'm not going back to working with them in the same way, I got to receive from an animal or multiple animals. I get to receive from my original medicine. I got to reconnect with this part of myself that I had stepped away from out of pain, and discover that it was still there, it was still in me, and it still fed me. Now I'm still playing with the way in which this will come about, that I continue to include animals in my life, but it is safe to say that I have shifted back into alignment in a new way, and it feels really darn good. Now I share that story with you because this is very typical for us and humans in general. This is super typical, where we are in our original medicine. We are in that easy, graceful connection. And it seems like the most natural thing in the world to us. It seems effortless. And then usually what happens is something comes up. Someone tells us, oh, it can't be that easy. Or that's not going to make you any money. Or do you really think that's the best use of your time? Or why are you doing this thing when you could be doing this other thing? Or that's not cool, or whatever the deal is. We've all heard something along these lines, and we step away from the thing that makes us feel most alive. This is part of, I think it's really safe to say this is part of the majority of our experience as humans. And that's really unfortunate. But the good thing is that we can always come back, because that never goes away. That's one thing that, if you get nothing else out of this class today, I want to remind you that you already have everything you need. You are already connected with your original medicine. You are already holding that vibration. It's already there. All you have to do is remember. This story that I shared with you is, it is my own journey of remembering. And granted, I don't think I ever went super far, but having to address that Why am I doing this? Why am I offering this work? It had shifted out of alignment for me because it had shifted away from my original medicine, which is the pure joy of connecting with animals in their innocence as their own sovereign beings with their own purpose. So as we continue, please keep that in mind of, it doesn't necessarily mean your original medicine is not necessarily the thing that you are going to be doing with your life. It might be, but it might be something that you do for you. So let's talk about what is our original medicine? What is this term that I've been throwing around? And I'll share with you something that came up as I was journaling in really, over the last couple of months, as I've really been sitting with this idea of original medicine. What is this? And the thing that flowed out of my pen was that our original medicine is the purest, most authentic expression of our core essence, of the I am. When we speak about original medicine, we also need to speak about the original self. Our original medicine is the actualization and translation of our core essence into our lived experience. I think that one's really important, so I'll say it again. Your original medicine is the actualization and translation of your core essence into your lived experience. Now note that your original medicine is not who you are. It's not your core essence. It is the expression of your core essence. It is the how of the who. So we're talking about two parts here. We're talking about the core essence, the I am, which is the who am I, is the question of the I am. Who am I? And then once we know that, then how am I? How am I is the question of the original medicine. So we can't know the original medicine until we know the who. The who comes first and then the how. But our original medicine, it's not really it's more of a chicken and egg thing, because our original medicine can help lead us back to the who. It's, sort of this beautiful little cyclical relationship. So please keep that in mind. I think it's really easy to think about when we're not in our original medicine. And we've probably all had experiences like this, but when we're not in our original medicine, meaning the translation of our core essence into our lived experience, what do we feel? How are we and who are we if we're not in alignment? We are unhappy. We are unfulfilled. We feel like there's something missing, even if we don't know what it is. There's this feeling of something is not right in my life. There's a feeling of having, like we're not ourselves, being not us. And so think about that. If we have the I am, we have our core essence, and the original medicine is the translation of the core essence into our lived experience, into our human life. And we're not living our original medicine, we're going to feel disconnected from who we are. I'm sure that we can all relate to this. I'm sure we've all had times where there's, been moments in our life, or years in our life, or most of our life, or maybe we've never really felt like all the pieces are there. That's okay. The journey of reclaiming our original medicine is one of remembering who we are. Again, this is not anything that you don't have. This is already yours. This is already within you. Our original medicine is something that nobody else can give you or teach you what it is. So let's talk a little bit about why. Why is this important? I mean, I hope it's obvious already why this is important and why it's a good idea and why it just feels good for us to be in alignment with our original medicine. But particularly the idea of living on purpose. Now, our original medicine is not purpose. It's not the same. Original medicine does not equal purpose, but it supports purpose. So there is a relationship there. And I know many of the people tuning in, many of the people who follow this kind of work, we are purpose-driven people. And our original medicine is not our purpose, but it can support and contribute and be a tool to living on purpose. And this is really important for those of us who are service-driven, who are mission-driven, who are like, I'm here to know why. Why am I here? And the purpose is the why of the who. So if we have our questions, we're going through our questions here. The I am is the who. Who am I? The original medicine is the how. How am I? And the purpose is the why. Why am I? Now the why can be supported by the how. Okay, I know who I am. I know why I am. How am I going to do that? That can be where the original medicine comes in, is what is the expression? What is the translation of the who and the why into the world? How are we doing the thing that we are here to do? The original medicine is a tool. It is a piece of knowledge. It is a something that can support the path, and it brings the purpose or the service or both into authentic alignment. I'm sure we've all been in positions where we are working in a purpose and we feel like it's the right thing, but it's like not going super smoothly, and there's just like a lot of questions coming up, and feels like things are going wrong, and feels like we're swimming through molasses, and we're like, but this is the thing that I'm supposed to be doing. My question then is, okay, if this is the thing that you're supposed to be doing, meaning this is your why, your purpose, is it in authentic alignment with the how, meaning your original medicine? Because if it is, chances are things are going to feel a lot easier. This is one of the pieces where our original medicine is the thing that is stupid obvious. Let me just like say, don't overthink this. This is, what were you like as a kid? Because that's usually the easiest way for us to connect with that. When we're children, we have way fewer filters in place. And we just simply are who we are. So for me as a kid, I loved animals. I still love animals. And I just wanted to be around animals. I just wanted to play with animals. I wanted to have animal friends. That was the thing that was stupid obvious and super easy for me. It was completely effortless. And that's the way with our original medicine, because it's not anything that we have to learn. It's not anything that we have to acquire. Again, our original medicine is the actualization and translation, meaning the expression of who we are into the world, into our lived experience. So your original medicine is the easiest thing in the world because it's you. The easiest and the hardest thing at the same time. First, we have to get there, and then we just let it be. I'll give you an example. So with the authentic alignment, with when we are living our purpose and our original medicine together, usually we're higher vibration. Usually our energy body is healthier. Usually there's more frequency, there's more energy in our field, because we're not having to work to hold this container. It's simply the beingness. It is way more sustainable for us. If we're doing the thing that is easy, if we're not swimming through molasses every gosh darn day, then it is way more sustainable, and it is something that is going to keep us going. This is the other thing, and it is way more fulfilling because it is in alignment with our original self. The other part for those of us who work in service, who are, healers, coaches, practitioners, teachers, facilitators, when we are living our purpose in alignment with our original medicine, there is something about that frequency that is undeniable, and people are drawn to that frequency. So from a sheer business perspective, it is a good idea to live our purpose, to live our mission, the thing that we're here to do, and let it be in alignment with the original medicine, because people will be drawn to that. I'm sure we all know people who have this magnetic quality where there is that alignment that just emanates out of them, and you're drawn to that alignment of, wow, you are being who you are right now, and that feels so good. So take a moment and just think if there's anyone in your life that you know who you felt that around, that magnetic quality of, you know who you are right now in this moment. And that feels really good because it gives me permission to remember and be who I am. And that's the thing that we want to put out into the world, right? That's the thing that pulls people toward us who are in a similar vibration. So when we're living our purpose, we can bring the people to us who are drawn to our original medicine because it connects and speaks to their original medicine. As an example, it's again the purpose is not the medicine itself. So for example, if someone's purpose is to heal people, okay, so I am here to be a healer. That's my why. But the how of that, the original medicine of that, can be a bajillion different things, right? So if, there's so many different ways to support healing. You could be an energy worker, you could be an herbalist, you could be a medical physician, you could support people in their healing by doing massage therapy, you could support people in healing by being a financial counselor and support people in their healing with money. You could support healing by being in law enforcement and help people who are in crisis, who are in a challenging time, come into alignment with a healing path. You can do healing work in so many different ways. The why is not the how. The how is where we get to play. And simultaneously, the original medicine can connect to so many different whys. So for example, with animals, for me as a kid, thinking about, well, what do I want to be when I grow up, right? What do I want my why to be? Knowing that animals were easy for me, I went through the phase, as I think a lot of kids who love animals do, is like, I wanted to be a vet. And then I realized I don't want to be a vet. Maybe I want to be a marine biologist. Or maybe I want to work with endangered animals. I was actually offered oh my gosh, when was that? That was like 2010 or so. It was a while ago, but I was offered to help do research with human dolphin interactions, human and wild dolphin interactions, voluntary interspecies interaction and connection and communication in Madagascar and Italy as part of this research thing. Research mission. And so maybe that was the way that I wanted to work with animals. And I went to school for biology. I have my degree in animal physiology and behavior, and I studied tropical ecology and conservation and hummingbird foraging behavior. Maybe that was the way I wanted to work with animals. So it's all these, again, if the original medicine is animals, for example, there's a bajillion different whys for that. And so letting it be your how, if the how is animals, or if the how is art, or if the how is training of some sort, or if the how is plants, or if the how is nature, then what is the why? And vice versa. If the why is, well, I am here to help people remember who they are. I am here to to work with plants. I am here to love earth. I am here to serve nature. I am here to uplift and elevate the collective consciousness of all of humanity and the whole planet. Okay, there are a million different ways to do that. and they're all important, but the best way for you is the way that is in alignment with your original medicine. I hope I'm planting some seeds here. I have a few questions that I would like to share with you. And if you have a journal, you can go ahead and jot these down. And they're questions / affirmations. So we have the who and the how and the why questions that we've been asking already. Who am I? How am I? Why am I? And the other side of this is a series of 3 affirmations that I really like. And even if we don't know the answer to them right now, just reminding ourselves of this fact, of these 3 facts, can help us in the remembering. So these 3 affirmations that are also awesome journal prompts, if you would like to journal on this. The first one is, I know who I am. The second one is, I know what I am. And the third is, I know how I serve. I know who I am. I know what I am. I know how I serve. So you can go ahead and jot those down. Those can be journal prompts. They can be affirmations as part of your personal practice. And what that is designed to do is to help you, even if you don't know, even if you're like, like, great, thanks, Michelle. Like, I know who I am. I know what I am. I know how I serve. Like, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? I promise, just being in that affirmation, I know who I am. All I have to do is remember. I know what I am. All I have to do is give myself permission to be that. And I know how I serve. All I have to do is just do that. I highly recommend that you just sit with those. If you, again, I'm giving you like 2 if you get nothing else out of this class. So the first one is, you already know your original medicine. This is something that you already have. And the second is, play with these affirmations. I know who I am. I know what I am. I know how I serve. And we had Ray chat in. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that this is resonating. You are planting seeds, exactly what I need. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ray. I appreciate it. And let's go ahead and we'll take a quick pause if there are any questions up until this point. Our next step that we're moving into is more of an action. So how do we go about this? How do we reclaim the original medicine? But before we do that, if there are any other questions or comments, if you'd like to chat into the box, now is a good time. I'm going to have some lemon water. Any insights so far? Any inspirations that you're going to encourage yourself to do? Can you define original medicine? Yes. I don't know if you were here at the beginning when I was sharing what original medicine is. So original medicine is the purest, most authentic expression of our core essence, meaning the I am. And it is the actualization and translation of the core essence into the lived experience. So the original medicine is the how, so like the translation. Okay, if this is who I am, how am I translating that into my life? That's the original medicine. It's the how. Does that make sense? I can't hear myself lately, no answers, and I keep asking for louder answers. Okay, great. So with that, as you're asking yourself these questions, great. And you're saying you can't hear yourself lately, that's okay. With that, there is this idea that I would like to offer the idea that information doesn't have to come in a certain way. So maybe if you're not hearing yourself lately, there is still information, there is still answers that are coming your way, and they're just coming a different way. So practicing allowing yourself to be open and allowing yourself to receive. Again, this is not anything that you don't already know. This is remembering. And so, I would invite you and anyone who is in this inquiry, I do have an invitation for you at the end of our call today, and I'll be putting a link in the email that I send you. If this is something that you're interested in talking about, this is part of a project that I'm offering right now. Great prompts, thank you. And this masterclass is the perfect place for me to be right now. Wonderful, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Absolutely. This is, I think, another piece that I'd like to leave you with, well, not leave you, we're not done, don't worry. But as, we're in this investigation, this is not a one-time thing. Also, it's not oh, I remembered my original medicine and now I'm done. It is a continual evolving and continual investigation of not only who am I in general, but who am I right now? And what am I and how am I, not only in general, but how am I right now as this version of myself? And why am I right now? So please let yourself continue to ask these questions. And if you're not hearing the answers right now, that's okay. And let that be part of the answer. If it's not coming super easily, or if it's feeling resistant, or if there's more questions that get prompted as a result of this, amazing. Because once we know the answer, there can be some stagnation. There can be okay, now I'm done. Check. I know the answer. And I actually am a fan of okay, what is a better question? So if you know, quote unquote, if you know the answers to these questions, great. Start asking better questions. And if you need some, go ahead and shoot me a private message, or if if you want to chat in and say hey, Michelle, I already know all the answers to all these questions, I challenge you, go ahead and chat that in. I will come up with a better question for you. And if that's not the case, just let yourself be in that continual unfolding and the continual inquiry, because it's so fun. Honestly, it's so fun. It's so, when we let ourselves have this experience of playing, not putting the pressure on, oh, I have to figure it out. I have to know, I have to remember, have to, so that I can do X, Y, Z. Take a breath and let it be fun. Take a breath and let it be, here is the game that I am choosing to play with myself. By being here on earth, how can I continue coming into this remembering over and over and over again? And how can I keep choosing it? That's another challenge to you. Okay, so let's step in. If there are any more questions or comments, go ahead and keep chatting them in. We'll keep going, because I want to give you some ideas as to how we can go about reclaiming the original medicine. We've talked about it for a while now, but okay, so what are some things that we can do to work with this? Number one, remembering that the original medicine does not start with, or this journey does not start with the original medicine, usually. Except if it's the chicken and egg thing, and I'll explain that in a second. But it actually starts with the I am. It starts with the core essence, the who, right? Because if we don't know the who, then we can't do the how. I hope that makes sense. So I'll say that again. It's really hard. I'll say it's a lot harder for us to live our original medicine if we don't know who we are. However, here's where the chicken and egg thing comes in. And this is one of those fun little cycles that we get to play with that goes both ways. I would say the who of who we are is more accessible to us when we are in touch with our original medicine. And so I know you might just be thinking wait, Michelle, you just said you have to start with the I am. And I'm saying, actually, yeah, you can start with the original medicine, but let it be from that place of knowing that it's coming from here. Because remember, original medicine is the translation of the self into the world. So we can play with this. We can, if you're in this inquiry of who am I, and letting that unfold in its expression and letting your original medicine be the natural unfolding of the who, great. And if you need help from your original medicine to backtrack and to sort of reverse engineer the who, that's okay too. So with this, remembering who we are, and actually I would offer this to you as another affirmation. So if you like, I'm just giving you lots of affirmations today. This is another really fun one to play with. I remember who I am. That simple. I remember who I am. And there's actually a point in this, a meridian point right here on the upper lip, right below the nose, where you can tap this. This is where, I've heard this point called where the angels tap us to make us forget, right? Because when we come to Earth, there's the amnesia of birth. There is this thing that we agree to, because Earth is a free will planet, and it's a whole lot easier for us to make free will choices if we're acting like we don't know who we are. And so we get to play with remembering who we are, and we get to play with free will. We get to play with choice, but this is where the angels hit us to make us forget. So you can tap this point right here on your top lip, right below your nose, and say, I remember. I remember. And if you like, I remember who I am. So if you want to go ahead and do that with me right now, you can do this. I remember. So that's one. And then up here in your third eye, you can tap this point and say, I know. I know. I know who I am. I know what I am. I know how I serve. All right, tapping on your third eye. Okay, so you can play with that. Those are a couple of, bringing in some tapping for these couple little points here. And sitting with, again, I remember who I am. And I give myself permission and space to be that. That's the other thing. We have to actually let ourselves be who we are, be the thing, be the person that we are. Because it's all well and good if we remember, but if we don't do anything about it, if we're not letting that actually happen and letting it come out, it's going to go away again. That's how we forget, is we shut it down. Remember the story that I shared with you about being in my original medicine and having this really strong connection with empathy and with kindness and with innocence and with compassion from working with animals and from loving animals. And then shutting that down out of pain and heartbreak and just deep, deep sadness. I can't tell you the tears that I cried from loving animals and wanting people to love them like I love them, and really see them as they are, and being absolutely heartbroken when that wasn't the case. And so stepping away from that a little bit was its own kind of pain, its own kind of heartbreak. And so when we let ourselves remember, when I had that experience with these horses, and I let myself remember how amazing it feels to be in this space of curiosity and compassion and innocence and empathy and joy, from a childlike perspective of just letting myself grin like a fool and run around with the horses and not give and not care that what it might look like or anything at all, but just be so in that. That's the other piece, is we can remember, but we need to give ourselves permission to be that and to live that. So those are some of the pieces of the how. Play with it. And I would also invite you to ask yourself, what was I like as a kid? What did I like to do? What is the thing that has always been so easy for me? And don't overthink it. I can pretty much guarantee that you're going to overthink this, because we always, we think, oh, it can't be that. Like, that's too obvious. Let it be that thing. Let it be the most obvious thing. Of when I was a kid, I liked to run around the backyard and make potions out of plants. Great. that thing. Or when I was a kid, I liked to play baseball with my friends. Great. Let that be the thing. Or when I was a kid, I liked to, I was really shy, and I liked to, sit and read books. Great. Let that be the thing. Okay? Or let it be a breadcrumb on the trail to help you move back to that thing that is innate, that thing that is the translation of your core essence into your lived experience. So again, start with affirming to yourself, I remember, tap, tap, tap if you like, I remember who I am. I know, tap, 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 I know who I am. I know what I am. I know how I serve. And see what comes up just playing with that. See what comes up just from allowing yourself the space. You're creating an invitation for yourself to come into that knowing, come into that remembering. And you can start asking yourself too, again, what is the thing that is easy to me? What is the thing? And remember that the original medicine does not necessarily equal purpose. They can work together, they can play together, and actually they are important allies. But even if your original medicine is something that you do simply for yourself because you love it, or because it makes you feel aligned, or because it helps you be who you are, and it's not anything you ever share with anyone else, your original medicine is the thing that if it didn't happen in your life, that would be harmful to you. Think about it that way too. What things do I have to include in my life in order to feel happy and fulfilled? What things in my life bring me the most joy? Where if this were not present in my life, I would be worse for it. And start playing with that a little bit too. That might help. And let that help you reverse engineer, backtrack to, okay, now who am I? And play with it both ways. Okay, so who I am is this. And when I am being who I am, I do this. Maybe this is my original medicine. Or when I am being who I am, this is how I am. And your how, remember your original medicine is the who of, or the how of the who. When I am being who I am, this is how I am. So I hope that's helpful. I know that there is a lot more that we could do with this, but honestly, starting simple is really a good idea, because this is the thing. Original medicine is simple. It is easy. It is stupid easy. And the only thing that makes it challenging is us getting in the way, thinking it can't be that easy. It can't be that simple. Well, it can. Let it be that easy. Let it be that simple, and let yourself remember. Let's talk for just a minute about what are some of the implications. Okay, so we've remembered and we've reclaimed our original medicine. Now what? Great. What does this mean? Well, this means for us that when we have done these things, when we have remembered who we are and we've reclaimed our original medicine, we're living in alignment. We're living as our authentic selves. And I can promise you that when this is the case, you will also have done a great deal of work on self-compassion and self-love. Because it is impossible for you or for anyone to be who you are. Let yourself be who you are. Be in touch with your original medicine and not love yourself. I can tell you right now, it is impossible. So, happy implication of reclaiming and remembering our original medicine is that we practice self-love and self-acceptance and self-compassion. Another thing is, as we shift energetically, as we shift into greater alignment, into greater authenticity, into greater connection, this translates to a physical and emotional shift as well. We're happier, we're healthier, our physical bodies change. When we are in alignment, there is more energy in our physical system. There is more health and vitality in the physical system. There is more movement, less stagnation in the physical body. We feel better. We are more lit up. We have more vitality. We have more high vibration. Our frequency is higher. We have more ease. And again, remember, I asked you to think about who in your life embodies this, who in your life has this kind of intangible, magic, magnetic presence that you're just so drawn to. You are that person. When you are in touch with your original medicine, when you are living in alignment, when you remember who you are and you let yourself be that, you become that magnetic person. Another happy implication of this is up-leveling your practice. Whether it's, whether you're a practitioner, whether you're a coach, a healer, a shaman, a therapist, a massage practitioner, body worker, law practitioner, I don't know, whatever it is that you are, being in alignment with your original medicine will help you become a more effective human. Will help you up-level your practice and increase your subtle awareness. This is all very subtle energy frequency that we're working with here. And if that's something that you're doing as part of your practice, part of your work, if you're an energy worker, a healer, or an intuitive, or a psychic, or an astrologer, or a spiritual mentor, or a coach, or anyone who's working in these subtle energies, being in touch with your own subtle energies makes you a better practitioner. Being in your original medicine is a serious up level to your practice and the way that you're showing up in the world. It means when we have remembered who we are and we have claimed that and we are living that, that means that we've done a shit ton of healing work. Let's be honest here. Where by this process of letting ourselves remember and letting ourselves be this, it means that we've been through this healing journey. We've been through the process of allowing ourselves to release any blockages, release any old stagnant energy, release any trauma from the lineages, from our karma, from our soul DNA, from the Akashic records, releasing and transmuting anything that says it's not safe for us to be who we are, or that we're not allowed to be who we are, or not allowed to remember. It means we have done that healing work. We have lived that, we have embodied that, and probably done healing work for those around us too. Because remember, the work that we do for ourselves is not only for ourselves, for all beings on earth and for the earth herself. It's for the lineages, it's for everybody, it's for the, in both directions, 7 generations both ways. At least 7, more than 7, let's be honest. And it means that we are moving more every single time this happens, every single second, we are moving more and more in the direction of a society where this is the norm. This is the thing, speaking to the collective consciousness. We are, by being who we are and by reclaiming our original medicine, we give other people permission to do the same thing. Think about that for a second. Where somebody in your life does something that really inspires you and is like, okay, well, I can do that too. If they're doing that, that means I can do that. So who are you going to give permission to by being truly who you are? And by living your original medicine, by reclaiming this innate part of yourself, how are you going to impact people? To let themselves remember who they are and let themselves reclaim their original medicine. And who are they going to impact? This is the beautiful chain reaction that we get to live here as we walk this path together. And let this be the new normal. Where, when we're children and this is the innate expression of our nature, and then we're shut down. maybe that isn't going to be the case anymore. Maybe this is something that, you know, these new children, these new little embodied masters who are coming in, who are totally just remembering who they are and shining their light, maybe they never shut down. And maybe they get to be who they are always. So let's offer ourselves the possibility that that is the case right now. We're going to go ahead and shift into a little meditation to ground this in. I will pause though if there are any questions or comments so far before we go into our meditation and ground in these energies. Go ahead and type in the chat box. How's this landing? How's this feeling? Anyone inspired? Yes, great. Okay. Good to hear. Is everybody going to go home and journal after this? Do some meditative practice, do some inviting ourselves to remember. And again, the little tapping. I remember who I am. I remember. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're just going to do another, not super long, another little meditation to just kind of drop this into the body. And I know this is a lot of information, but honestly, again, remember, if you get nothing else out of this, two things. Number one, you already know all of this. I didn't share anything with you that you don't already know and don't already have. This is already yours. Number two, I know who I am. I know what I am. I know how I serve. Repeat. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and I invite you once again to settle on in and close your eyes. And notice as you drop back in with your breath, if anything has changed or shifted for you in this time. Notice if there's anything that feels a little different. Any body sensations? Any new ideas? A new awareness you didn't have before? And breathe into whatever it is that you notice. Taking a deep breath in and exhale to settle in these energies. I invite you to turn your attention now toward the question that you asked yourself in our opening meditation. What do I need to know? What do I need to hear? And what do I need to remember? And invite yourself as you consider this. What insight did you receive as a result of this question? What did you hear? What did you remember? And what do you know now? Invite yourself to just allow these messages or images or information or subtle impressions to float to the surface of your awareness so that you can experience them easily. And I invite you now to ask yourself one more question. And that question is, what do I need in order to be that? What do I need? What do I need to give myself in order to live this? My I am, my original medicine. Allow yourself to breathe into whatever arises as you ask yourself that question. And go ahead and offer yourself an inward smile. Take a deep breath into whatever it was that you received. Inhaling, asking your body, asking all your cells to remember everything that you just learned. And exhale with a sigh, allowing this to settle into your body, into your bones, and trusting that this is with you to stay. This is yours. It always has been. And as you continue on this path, this knowledge, what you have remembered, what you have uncovered in this time is with you always. Take one more breath into that. Exhaling with a sigh and letting it still settle even deeper into your body. And go ahead and give yourself a hug. Offer yourself so much gratitude for this practice and this time today, knowing that what you uncovered and remembered during this time is yours, as is everything you keep remembering. Give yourself a little squeeze. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, I love you, I love you. Just place your hands on your heart and just offer some of that love inward. Thank you, I love you. And allow yourself to come back to your conscious awareness. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes. We'll go ahead and close. I would like to offer you an invitation. If this is something that resonated with you, and this is something that you are interested in more of, I am beginning tomorrow, actually, I am beginning what I am calling the I Am Project. This is a deeply heartfelt offering of service to my fellow seekers on the path, to the magic people, to the people who are in that journey of remembering, the change makers, the visionary healers, and the leaders who wear their hearts on their sleeves. So people like you and me. If this is something that you are interested in, I am offering 30 free sessions within the next 35 days. And if you want one of those sessions, if you want an opportunity to speak with me one-on-one, just an hour, you, me, and spirit, about your I am and about you coming into that remembering of who you are and the remembering of your original medicine. I do have spots left. I will be announcing this and beginning this project officially tomorrow. So before I send it out to my list, because it's going out to several hundred people tomorrow, if you want one of those spots, I will be sending an email later today that has the link to book your I Am Project session. It will have the recording of this class, and it will have the link to register for next month's masterclass. And that masterclass is on Tuesday, August 14th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So go ahead and look for an email later today. Again, it has an invitation into the I Am Project. If that's something that calls to you and resonates with you as a fellow seeker on this path, it is my gift to you as you come into the remembering of who you are and your original medicine. Look for the recording of this call and go ahead to jump on and register, grabbing your seat for next month's free masterclass. I love the participation today. I love the engagements and the questions. Thank you so much. Links in the chat. Oh, that's a good idea. To schedule the call. Oh, great. Yeah, I can do that. Let me, oopsie. I don't have the link yet. Yeah, thank you for asking, Marley. I don't have the link yet for next month's masterclass. I haven't made the page yet. So that one will have to wait until I send out the email. But I will go ahead right now and put the link in the chat box of the I Am project. That's a great idea. Ta-da! Okay, so for those of you who are interested, if you would like one of these spots in the I Am project, I send it out to my list tomorrow and it begins tomorrow. So again, there's 30 total. I'm not sure how many there are left. I haven't checked my email in the last hour or so, and I did send this out already with some personalized invitations. So please go ahead and grab yours ASAP if you want it. And stay tuned for next month, Tuesday, August 14th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you so much for joining me. If there are any other questions or comments, if there's anything you'd like to share, go ahead and shoot me a private message and stay tuned for your email. I'm sending you so much love. Great job today, everybody. I'll talk to you later. You're welcome.